The first time we heard of Synduality was that it was an anime that was released in 2024, as well as seeing some of the model kits that came along with the anime release. The kits looked interesting enough that when we saw that there was also a game coming out called Synduality Echoes of Ada, we honestly got a bit interested in what kind of game it would be. Now that it's out, is the game as interesting as the anime and models are? Join us here at GameRate as we review Synduality Echoes of Ada. There really isn't much to say about the story of the game, as the most you hear about the world is in its intro cutscene. You play as a nameless drifter who has taken on the dangerous task of venturing out into the surface to collect AO crystals, which are a sort of energy source that is important to this world, as well as any useful supplies to bring back to your base. But to explore the surface, you must take control of a large robot known as Cradle Coffin, which protects you from the many dangers on the surface, be it the harsh rain or enders. You are also accompanied by an android companion known as Magus, which helps you with the exploration of the world around you. Honestly, that's all the story you pretty much get from the game, which is quite a shame since the world has so much potential to tell an interesting story about humans struggling to survive. The intro tells of this catastrophic event that wiped out 92% of the world, but the game doesn't really delve into it and we are left wondering why these events happened. They could have also even given us a small story about us slowly getting to know our mages, but all the story and world building has taken a backseat, and instead the game focuses more on gameplay and its mechanics. I guess if you want to delve deeper into the world, you can just watch the anime? Speaking of gameplay, this is where we felt the game put all its focus on, as the gameplay loop does feel like it has quite a bit of replayability. Synduality Echoes of Ada is a PvEvP extraction shooter that has you go into the surface to collect resources and AO crystals. Along the way, you encounter many dangers like enders, bandits, and even the weather. The exploration gameplay is satisfying enough, as you may never know what danger lurks in the ruins of the old world. Before the mission, you are given time to prepare and bring whatever you may need to survive in your expedition. These can range from bullets, repair packs to grenades, all of which can help you as you explore the world. While preparing, you also need to keep track of the items you bring, as everything has a weight cost. Your ammo and supplies all contribute to your weight, so knowing what to bring makes a huge difference when preparing, as the heavier you are, the less mobile you become. And you need to be as mobile as possible, especially when you end up encountering the many enemies found throughout the regions of the game. This is where the game's unforgiving combat comes into play. As you explore, you will inevitably encounter fights, be it from enders or bandits, and knowing when to engage is up to the player. Just make sure you either have an escape plan or are confident enough to win the fight. We mentioned that the game is unforgiving, and we do mean it, as losing these fights has a heavy penalty on you and your resources. And we do mean heavy. Losing a fight means you lose all the resources you have acquired during that run, as well as any supplies you have brought with you. The most unforgiving part about losing is that you also lose your weapons and mech as well. Yep, you heard that right. You lose everything you bring to the mission if you fail. This makes every encounter a tense game of knowing when to engage or when to flee, as you have to make sure that you don't lose your precious resources and mech. There's a system at least that prevents you from completely losing your investments, as you can put some insurance on your equipment so that you at least get some money back in case you lose your gear out in the world. While this does allow you to get back on your feet, the feeling of losing all your built-up gear may affect how you play the game going forward. Just remember to actually apply for insurance before going out. Another thing to help you explore is your mage's abilities. These can range from scanning the area to more special abilities depending on the mage's type you choose at the start of the game. We went with a healing type, and it saved us quite a few times when we needed that extra healing to make it back to the extraction point. Another big part of the game is that you may encounter other players as you explore and scavenge around. You still have to be careful though, as these players may have ulterior motives and could be friendly or hostile towards you. If you do happen to meet a friendly face, it makes the game more enjoyable, as it's nice to have an ally watch your back while you can watch theirs. This makes interacting with other players interesting, as you may never know what type of player you are going to meet. After collecting materials and crystals, you can use them to upgrade your base, which helps you create and unlock better gear to make exploring easier. In the base, you can also customize your mages with some sweet drip to make them truly unique to you, since you are able to see other players' mages too. That being said, that's pretty much all there is to the gameplay. While the gameplay loop is solid enough, we felt that the lack of story to really push things forward makes the game quite dull after a few runs. One thing we'd like to point out is that the game has an always online requirement. This means that depending on your connection, you may experience a bit of lag and stuttering. Another thing about the online requirement is that if you are playing on console, you'll also need to have an online play subscription like PS Plus or Xbox account to even play the game, which adds to the game's $40 price point. This may put off some players expecting to just play the game and not have to worry about paying for that extra subscription. The visuals of the game are another one of the game's strong points, as the surface world looks very well designed, which makes it great to explore. Just piloting your cradle along the dead streets makes us feel like actual scavengers living in this world. The game features a large map which has a lot of points of interest for you to scavenge and loot, and they feel very distinct, so you know which area you are based in on how the atmosphere feels. The cradle designs are quite striking too, as they don't look like your typical giant robot you usually see in popular media. The many different parts also allow you to customize your cradle to suit your playstyle. The customization options for your mages is also pretty nice, as you can dress them up with a variety of different outfits. As for the audio, the sound the cradle makes while exploring truly gives it a heavy feel to it. Even the weapon sound gives it some oomph to it and makes it feel very powerful.
We have been detected by a chaser.
The voice acting though may be a hit or miss, since you really only hear your mages most of the time while you are exploring. It honestly started to feel a little repetitive, as you will hear the same lines from your mages multiple times in one run.
We have a chaser. This is the target for the hunt request.
Synduality Echoes of Ada honestly feels like it has potential to be a good extraction shooter, but it falls short with the world building and lack of story to keep us motivated to keep playing. Although there are at least a few things that the game does well, especially with its great tense combat encounters and mech designs. That's why we here at Game8 are giving it a 70 out of 100. So, what do you guys think about Synduality Echoes of Ada? Are you willing to give it a try? Does it make you interested in the anime that also came out? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, like and subscribe for more gaming related content. This has been Game8 and we'll see you in the next video.